this tutorial we're going to show you how to add a log sheet, edit a log sheet and all the different fields that are in a log sheets. So to add a log sheet, you simply tap on the plus on the top right hand corner of your screen there, and that will bring you to a screen where you can set up your log sheet. Lots of fields in here. The really only important ones is your time zone, your fatigue option, and your date. The rest of the fields you can add in there, they're useful for you, but they don't affect the calculations at all. Now the date field, it automatically goes to the next day after the last log sheet you added. So in this case it's Sunday 4th of December because the last one was the Saturday 3rd of December. You can change that date by just clicking on it and choosing a different date. So if we want to change that to the 7th of December, we can do that and hit done. Using an EWE, that's the electronic work diary, if you turn that on, that means you have an EWD in your truck and you want to have Logbook Checker recognise that. What that does is it allows you to add log entries to the minute and also allows for the extra 8 minutes to find a parking bay. That's allowed under when you're using an EWD. So switching that off and on, that determines whether you're using an EWD. Your security number is the letters on the top of your driver work diary, so you can record, say, what is those letters in here, so that it appears when you draw the driver work diary. The page number, well, that's the red numbers normally on the diary. So if we put a number in there, it will increment by 1 automatically as you add new log sheets. Next, you've got your fatigue option, standard hours, BFM, your BFM accreditation number that comes from your settings. But say you change a company, you can then record a different accreditation number, and the old log sheets will have the old accreditation number for the company you're working with then. Standard bus, that's the standard bus fatigue option. If you choose WA rules, it gives you a couple of options for solo and 2-up. Now, when you choose those options, if you're not using 2-up, it doesn't matter, you don't have to choose an option there, but you can choose between the different solo options. And there's a description of those in there and how they calculate. Just hit done on that and it records that. You can see down there I've chosen solo option A and 2-up option A. We'll turn that back to BFM just for this example. Time zone, which time zone you're in, you can click on there and choose the various state time zones. We'll keep it on New South Wales. Daily check, that's the daily check time that you can record. So if you did a daily check of your truck at 9 AM, you can put that in there. Fit for duty, if that's to record that you were fit for duty for the day, you can turn that off and on. Nights away, if you spent the night away, that's for your tax purposes, you can turn that off and on. Your license number is recorded there, and that's just in case you change states and your license number changes. It records the license numbers for your old log sheets. 2-up driver information down the bottom here. You can put in who your 2-up driver is and your license number, license state. So, we could put in here, let's say, and his license number. License state, just choose from the states. And the security number for his driver work diary. And the page number for his work diary. I'll just put that in again. And lastly, whether he drove 2-up or BFM, we'll leave him on. standard hours or BFM. Now we can save that, and you can see it saved that log sheet there. To edit a log sheet, you just simply click on the I, and that comes back to that log sheet in there. And you can change any of the details in there and save it again. If you change, say if you edit a log sheet and change from BFM to standard hours, it will recalculate and make sure your entries for that day are legal according to standard hours. You can also add a work diary for the same date. So if you were changing from BFM to standard hours on the same day, you can do that. It says, is this a duplicate? No, we're actually changing our fatigue option, and so you could start the day on BFM and go to standard hours. Now, you don't need to have a 48-hour break unless you're changing from one fatigue option to another, and for example, you might be up on your hours in a 7-day period, and so therefore you really can't change. Logbook Checker does all the calculations for that. You don't need to worry about that. When you change options, it will say, well, look, can you actually drive now, and tell you when you can next drive. When you click on a log sheet, it comes up there with a list of log entries, and that's where you add each log entry for that log sheet. We'll show you how to do that in another video. When you add a log sheet and you add a two-up driver, it will record that two-up driver for you. So it will start to build a list, and that's found in here. You can see the truck that we've used is already added in there automatically, and we can see here Fred Nurks is a two-up driver that's added automatically in there. So it just keeps recording all your two-up drivers. The reason why it does that, because if you add a new log sheet, you can go and there'll be a list of them in there, and you can choose which one you want to use, and all the details will come over. Their license number, their state, and so forth. So you can see there we've added 4 log sheets now. That'll slowly build up as you use the app. Hope that's been helpful.